Hello, everyone. My name is Chengrong Chen. I come from Griffith University. They very happy to be here today. So what we're going to talk about is the assessment. Sorry, I've been teaching. Huh? So this. Oh, here. That's right. Okay. I normally have the microphone here with me, so when I talk. Today, basically, we're going to summarize what we have done in terms of developing this alternative rhizobium carrier in the past couple of years. Also, just to very briefly talk about what we're going to do next. Okay. Before I forget, I'd like to acknowledge our partners, the collaborators, and the program leaders for their support for this project. So I'd like to talk about why we need to do this project, why it is so important. So we all know these leguminous plants can fix nitrogen through this rhizobia, through this formation of symbiotic, the relationship with the rhizobia. So for soybean, we know that the soybean rhizobia contribute probably 1/3 of the nitrogen required for the growth in the one season. So it is very important. They contribute a lot of nitrogen. There's about $40 million annually to Australia, the industry. This is background, but why we need to do this? Because of this current the survival rate of rhizobium is quite low in the field due to this desiccation and the heat. This is one thing we want to look at, if there's any alternatives. So they're cheap, affordable, accessible materials, we can use alternative material. So that's the project we're going to, we have done. So what we did in the past 3-4 years, we collected all these over 100 materials. Some of them come from the local market, farmers, there's different farm. Some of them come from the commercial product, and also some they actually create in our lab, particularly in the biochar. One of our students, Rahab, he just finished PhD. He's going to talk about this biochar as alternative rhizobium carrier materials. So we collected over 100 the different type of material. So what we have done, So we test the material, okay? We analyze the chemical composition. You can see in this, we have done a lot of environmental analysis. So some material, they have a very good, the pH EC, particularly for rhizobia, the neutral pH is critical for their survival. So some of the material like cow manure, biochar, under low temperature, and this MUMAP, they are very good, the pH, I think they got potential to be good alternative rhizobium carrier. We also have done this surface properties characterization, like SEM and BET. Then we also have done this over the hundreds of materials. Some material, the biochar for the rhizobium to survive on this material, we need to have this provide very good habitat. The surface structure, okay? So they have different type of material structure, like channel structure, porous structure, and the fiber-like structure, and they will provide very good habitat for this rhizobium. So we also done is the FTIR analysis. So look at this, the functional group. For microbe to attach to this material on the surface, they need to have some kind of this functional group for this some kind of connection between the microbe and the surface functional group. So we have tested this about over hundreds of materials. Then we select about 40-50 materials for the further testing. We test the moisture retention. So you can see these a few materials there, and like dynamite and peanut shell, the agar, they have very high moisture retention. And also the cow manure, sugarcane bagasse, they also have quite high moisture retention. So we all test these moisture retention materials. Then we test this water release properties, how long the moisture can stay in these materials. Okay, some of the material here we can see is that this slow release, the material may be able to supply this water for the rhizobium survival. So there are some material like diatomite, cow manure, and rock wool, they recycle rock wool from industry, and they have slow release characteristic. So after we test these materials, we measure this rhizobium survival rate and shear lives. Okay, so we tested 3 different types of this rhizobium strength. So here are some results. We use peat as a control. It's imported peat. Also, Australia, the peat produced locally in Australia. So we compare these different individual materials with peat. Overall, this material we're testing, most of them, they're actually comparable to the imported peat or even higher. But compared with Australian peat, so most of some material, they are very good. So you can see here, so like diatomite, mulch hay, and cow manure and chicken manure, they are quite good. They are comparable to Australian peat, and sometimes performance better in terms of this the survival rate. So we also test some formulation, use 4 or 5 formulation. One of them is diatomite-based formulation. So we bring different type of this material together for testing. So one you can see from this diagram, diatomite-based inoculant formulation that with different additive. You know, one of them is quite good is mulch hay, cow manure, and chicken manure. They combine with this diatomite, have much better performance in terms of survival rate. So after we test this survival rate and in the shear life, we carry out this pot trial, the small scale pot trial. So you can see on this pot trial, the outcomes on the back. So this is another formulation we're testing is a cow manure, the compost, the cow manure based fertilizer. So this is all purely commercial products. We're testing how good they are as alternative rhizobium carrier. So the few products we tested, we find out this cow manure compost with 50% of gypsum. They are the best in terms of this carrier, this rhizobium. So this industry currently, they use our outcome. They try to manufacture the product. So use the current commercial available manure compost to add in this rhizobium strength to be sold in the market. So they're working on the product. So we not only want to understand this which one is performed better, but we also want to know why some material are performed better. Okay, so we use we tested all sorts of the properties of this material, and we use statistics and the PCA. This is a very simple one. Use PCA analysis to look at which parameters are critical. Okay, so from this PCA analysis, we find that not a single parameters they will govern all this performance. It's multiple factors that contribute to the performance of this the rhizobium carrier. So some of the specific parameters like sulfur, calcium, water holding capacity, they are really, really important, but they are not able to dominate the performance of rhizobium carrier. Summarize, I'll let it go. So this is a pot trial we did with soybean. For diatomite-based inoculant, so you can see this overall, there's in terms of biomass, plant growth, and the root length, and there's nodule numbers. There's the diatomite plus the cow manure and the mulch hay, they perform better. So this is a potential formulation, we need to looking at it later on. So they are performed in terms of this plant performance. We also analyze this nitrogen activity of nodules. Basically, it is indicator of nitrogen fixation for plants. So we find a similar trend. The treatment, the formulation determined cow manure and the mulching hay. This formulation have best potential, the potential nitrogen fixing activities. To conclude, there's a few things we get out of this trial. Number one, this quite a few is locally available of the waste material could be very good. This alternative rhizobium carrier material, for example, the meal mud. Farmer can use the meal mud to make them to make this rhizobium, this is rhizobium, the inoculant land safe. They combine the concentrated with the powder and they can make this rhizobium inoculant for land safe. They can use it. And they also, I mentioned before, the multiple factors that govern this overall performance of any one materials. Okay, so it's not a single parameters. It's very hard to say that the one parameters that determine everything. For example, we select one material with very high water holding capacity, and we are sure they perform well. So actually not that case. Okay. So there are a few formulations. 4 formulations we try. I think they got a potential, particularly diatomite. And to me, that formulation is quite promising. We will need to do the further glasshouse trial and the field trial. The other thing is the cow manure compost. This one industry really interested in that. So that I'm sure that in the next couple of months, we may see one product come out of this trial and cow manure compost rhizobium carrier material. So future work, there's one that continue project on top of this. It is the glasshouse trial and the field trial. So we continue to test the result we get from the field our lab in glasshouse trial. Any question? Thank you.
There is time for a couple of questions.
Yeah, there. Looking at your conclusions about adding calcium and sulfur, do you think there'll be a positive impact of adding gypsum to the peat already? Because obviously that's a commercial product at the moment.
We didn't add calcium and sulfur because calcium and sulfur, they are part of this commercial product. Okay, so we test this. This is about cow manure. We just test 4 currently commercially available products. So we find that the cow manure compost plus gypsum, they are most effective in terms of improving the survival rate and share life. Okay, to be honest, peat is a very good material. Okay, otherwise won't be used there for so long. But the problem with peat, still, the moisture retention still, not long enough, at least to keep 1 month before this formation of this symbiotic relationship between the rhizobium and plants roots.
Why there was a negative correlation with carbon content. So can you explain that?
This is a very good question. Initially I thought that this organic material, you see that what rhizobium need for their pet to survive for longer. Number one, they need a habitat. Okay, they need to have this service, charges and a lot of service space, the service area. Number two, they need a carbon as energy resource. So I believe that at the beginning, so the carbon, all this organic material, they will provide some kind of, soluble or available carbon for microbe to grow. The third thing is the nutrients, okay, for them to survive, particularly micronutrients. Then we also they need a better environment, like neutral pH, okay, this environment. But to me, it's a negative relationship. Just mean the carbon is not a limiting factor. Okay, so this is something this a lot of findings beyond my expectation. I thought there's something at the beginning. If we look at literature, these criteria for best, this rhizobium carrier material. They talk about central, the neutral pH, carbon, all these, the listed or parameters there. But none of them actually control overall performance. It is multiple parameters, the contribution to the performance.
Thank you very much, Chen.
Thank you.